Okay, on to the subject of the fuel door lid. So since this truck is going to be, it's fuel injected, so we're using the original fuel system. So I'm going to have to cut a hole in this side of the bed, the bedside, and graft this fuel door into the bed. I don't think this is going to be all that much trouble. I'm still torn between welding it or just panel bonding it in with panel bonding adhesive, but I'll decide that when the time comes. But basically the way I figured out where I want to put it, if you look up under the bed, I've got this brace here and this brace here, and this filler neck, and that whole apparatus needs to go in between those braces. That's where the most room is. So I made this template, which I use to trace the line out with a Sharpie. But I put the template on the back side, or the inside of the bedside, and I put it in between those braces. Then I measured out to the end of the bed, and it come to roughly 11 inches and a quarter. So I just come out here, transferred that, and that was to the center of the door. So I just measured over here and got it level, and then drew a line with a Sharpie. So I'm about to cut this hole out, and I'll see how good we're done as far as centering it up. Okay, so as you can tell, I got that cut out, and I think it's gonna fits pretty good. Certainly close enough to weld, or if I panel bond it, I'll have to glue a backing piece, a flange, onto the back side of it, and then glue the door to that. But as you can tell, my work is only half done, as I'll have to cut an area out here and make a tunnel for the nozzle, or the fuel pipe tubing, to fit as it goes down to the fuel tank. And that's going to be the next plan. So I'll get that marked out. I'll probably just take this thing loose from the rubber tubing and then just fit it up here as best I can, so I'll know where to make my rough cut at, and then that'll get me close. And then from that point I'll start fine-tuning it and getting it to fit the way I want it. Okay, so I've got the nozzle roughly placed where it's going to go, and so the way what I've done is this is all by eyeball since it's customization, but I just traced me out a rough arc, and you can tell I decided to go a little bit bigger than the original one after I looked at the size of this, and kind of it protrudes in, so it's pretty deep the way it fits in there. So by cutting that, I got to it from I went to the inside of the bed. It was easier to get my saw in there, my grinder, cutoff wheel. This allows that to flex back because I've still got just a little bit left there. You won't have to get to with a different cutting tool, but this allowed me to weasel this thing in, and then I will once I get it, because it's going to fit roughly in the center of the hole, kind of like so. So at that point I was able to go underneath, and then I know where my tube's going to hit the floor of the bed. Okay, so that's a little bit flexible. I mean, you can move it one way or the other, but I've got a rough line with a metal pencil traced out there that I'm going to cut next, and that should give me the clearance. I may go a little bit bigger than that. I normally, seems like I wind up going bigger than what I originally mark, but in any case, that should get me really close to where this thing needs to go, and that's what I'll be doing next. But I'll bring you guys probably back in whenever I start some of the fabrication for the little tunnel that I'm going to have to make to make it look good inside the bed. Okay, I've got the 2005 Chevy frame blasted and acid etched, and it's dry, so I've got my sealer mixed up. I'm using PPG's DP90 sealer, so that's what I'll be using on that. And the Scout frame is also ready to seal up, so I'm going to do both of those tonight or this evening, and I'll bring you back in when I'm done. And I got the sealer sprayed on the 2005 frame, and here the frame is painted chassis black. Just got done with it. Done the axle 2, the leaf spring clamps, and then power steering pump, and a cross member for the front diff. It's black. Bartley with MTX Automotive, back on the 72 Chevy today. I just want to give you a quick update and then show you a repair trick that I've found out. Anyway, so this passenger side floorboard, I just got it welded in a few days ago. It's just a partial replacement, and that's the way it came from the manufacturer. It was cut off right there, so I made a piece that goes on out to here. The structural support that goes underneath here, I cut it right about there. I was going to make that piece, but it was, you can get them for like 18 bucks, so I decided to just order one, and so that's what I'm waiting on right now, because I need to have it before I can tie it into the back side of this, and then I'll finish all that out, and then put the rocker panel, the outer rocker panel back on. and glue all that up, or weld it all together. Anyway, what I made the video about, or wanted to make the video about, was while I'm waiting on that piece to come in, that cab support, I decided to jump on this driver's side door, and it probably should be replaced in all honesty, but anyway, I'm repairing it because it's cracked in a lot of different places, right there, and a lot of this stuff you don't really realize until you get it sandblasted. It's just hard to see this stuff. It's got a crack right there. It's cracked down here below the hinge in both of these areas. So that, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just a matter of dragging out the MIG welder and welding it up. What I did come across that kind of stumped me for a few minutes was here where the door latch goes. So they have 3 screws that hold that on, and they're countersunk. As you can see, it's dished out right here. Well, that one there is in pretty decent shape. If you go above, we've got one that's broken out, and this one here is really bad, broken out. And I was like, how in the world am I gonna, replicate that? So after a lot of brain work, what I came up with, I got myself a flat washer, a couple of them actually, and a socket and a countersink screw. So you want to put your socket, and actually a shorter socket would probably work. It would be a little more stable. Anyway, you get yourself an anvil, I-beam, whatever you like to strike objects on, concrete floor, and just put that down there on a chisel and pounded it 4 or 5 times, and I ended up with this. Oops, excuse me. Okay. Ended up with that. You can see it's dished out. Actually going to work out very good, because it's pretty thick metal. So I'm just going to, it fits in there actually perfectly. So I'm just going to mark that, and then take my little grinder with a diamond tooth bit on it and round that out. Same thing over here, and then just weld it back in, and that should fix that problem. Anyway, I'm sure there's many of them out there that like that. That's a pretty cheap, easy way to fix it. I think that's all I have for now. Stay tuned for more in the future.